Let's get rocking. Hey, let's get rocking. So I woke up when I wanted to play some games. So that's what I do. And I was playing near Automata yesterday. It's a very strange game. I don't see it's a Platinum game, but then I also forget it's a Square Enix game, which maybe explains some of the strangeness. You can definitely see the Platinum influences from a stylistic perspective, I guess. But it is a little bit hollow, I want to say. And it's no Bayonetta, I suppose, is what I'm getting at. I'm mainly playing for the story because the story is pretty interesting. I really like the ability to see the game from different perspectives. That's pretty cool. But I do think they missed the boat on a lot of harbours. They could have totally really abused the fact that they were doing different perspectives. For example, have the characters do more things that other characters weren't aware of, but they don't really do that. They're playing through as the alternate character's perspective, almost like 70% of it, probably like from a timer's perspective. You're just playing as, you're just doing the exact same kind of thing, you're going to the exact same places, and the story's pretty much the same. When you're playing as 9S, the less fighty character, it's odd because you've got like some kind of weird top-down shoot 'em up perspective that they use to simulate hacking, I guess. And the view of hacking is just getting more and more distorted as time goes by. But maybe real hacking will come to resemble top-down shoot 'em up action. I don't know. Let's take. I do like Gamma Guts. I do feel like I'm missing out by not taking Bone Marrow because it is really cool. I think maybe they're both equally good, but at least Gamma Guts always works no matter what weapon you have. So I do it now. I do it now. It's great in the sewers, isn't it? I don't even need to fire a shot unless it's a big boy. Oh, that's like that big boy. They could have definitely done more with it, is what I'm trying to say with the hacking. It could be more developed. Like the way you hack could have changed. I feel one massive thing they could have done is instead of when you go to hack something, it dropping you into a new layer of the game that's completely separate from the fighting real-time aspect. You should have had to do both simultaneously. So at the same time as dodging around enemies that you're currently hacking, you're playing the hacking minigame with another part of the controller. It would have been a nightmare to organize the controls, but like left stick, right stick, somehow. I think that would have been really engaging. I've got my mindset on Gamma Guts now. But instead it's a lot more broken up. It's a bit jarring how you jump from a battle into a mini game, which is basically what it is. And it's one of maybe 48 different possible, let's take this, mini games roughly. They could have added more levels. I do kind of feel like I'm missing out on the point of the hacking, which is if you're more stealthy, which is how I guess you're supposed to play this character, then you can use it to take over other characters, well, enemies, and then use those to hack other ones in a kind of inverse babushka doll tournament of robots. But to do that, you need to play stealthily. And I suppose I wasn't really aware of it. Oh, that was so trash. Instead, I was just no gamma guts. Instead, I was just playing as a really crippled 2B, who's the main soldier character. So, oh, the problem being you can only take over things if you hack them when you're unseen. And I think I've only actually done that twice in the entire game over a maybe 6-hour playthrough. I was about to say 7 hours because I think it is more like 7 hours. But 6 sounds maybe just because it isn't even like a nice even number. It feels like an afternoon length, like a long gameplay, but not an all day encompassing time. These guys are just flooding me. It just sounds better than 7. 7 sounds like way too much, but it is probably more like 7 hours, and that was in one day. Just because I had nothing else to do. And I was really interested to see where the story was going. And it's pretty interesting. You have to do a whole playthrough to actually progress further in the story. A whole second playthrough, sorry. So you're playing through once, then you're doing it again from a different perspective. Then you're going back around from another... Well, you're not going around again. You're then playing as another character after the point where the game ends, for both characters. Yeah, that's right. Flute, flute. Mm. Oh, coffee. Thank you. Some days just feels like you definitely need some. But that's probably an idea that's been instilled in me from Big Coffee. You don't really see that many adverts though that are telling you you need coffee to be awake, etc. A lot of them nowadays are more about you need to buy this coffee because it tastes good. They're missing the fundamental usage of coffee, which is to get shit done. Maybe it isn't. Maybe in somewhere like Italy, where they're all about coffee. Maybe. I don't know that much. Uh, ah, ah, yeah. Scary dairy face. Sounds good. I should have brought something that's not grenade launcher, right? But I thought I'd had some, and then I remember the other day, I accidentally... Well, let me set up the scene for you. I was at work, strange stuff. I thought, okay, I really need a piss. So what I'll do is I'll prepare the coffee ingredients. I'll put the grounds, the bean, well no, it's just the grounds, and then some sugar in a cup. I'll leave it there so when I get back, I can actually finish it. And this is you know early in the morning, like 9:30. I'm really lampshading that. And came back out the bathroom. The toilet talk, always a good way to start for stream. And I then just filled it up with water from the kettle. But that was the fatal misstep, because at no point did I turn the kettle on. And we've got like a heated water pipe, so I should just use that. But it's not a heated water pipe, it's a water cooler, but it's got a hot setting. So I could have just used that, but I ended up with just a cold cup of coffee. The coldest, made, brewed cold. It's not like a cup of coffee that went cold, which is really earwiggy and not great. And when I say earwiggy, I mean it tastes like earwax. It's the way I've always termed it, and I don't think it'll ever change. I need another gun. How have we got this far with just one gun? And it's the furthest we've gotten today. So, it's not going to taste just like cold coffee, because cold coffee has had at least the chance. It's been blessed with the ability to become real coffee. This thing will always become. It's the difference between a baby and a bag of bones. Well, flesh, I guess. Oh fuck! Don't kill me. I'm just mentally unprepared. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Cool. Just please, gift me a gun. I kind of don't want to kill this guy, so I have the chance to pick something up with my own selection. But I think that's the way it's gonna go. Splinter pistol. I want something high value, not high value, high ammo. That's not high ammo. Splinter pistol. See, it's not even close to being a good replacement to just cold coffee. And then I start thinking, because you can have cold brew coffee, but that is almost the equivalent of coffee that's gone cold, and then they've frozen it because they thought no one will drink cold coffee, but they will drink ice cold coffee, and they sell it in a can because cold things come in cans. But then sometimes they shape the cans to look like, I don't know what you call them, but the containers they use to serve coffee in from locales such as Starbucks, Cafe Nero, etc., etc. Like that. Okay, focus time. I've got a new rule that in any boss level, all conversation is strictly game related. Because it'd be good to get some distance. Oh, oh, oh! So they serve it. I'm instantly going to break my own rule. So they serve it to you. Well, they don't. But people do buy cold brew coffee. And so is that just hot coffee, wink wink, that they've brewed and let to go cold and then frozen? Or is it coffee that I seem to have invented the other day? I need something with more ammo. That was pretty damn easy. I want the shock. No, no! There was another red box. I can see it in the stream preview. Oh, it's just this. I'll take this. I love the shotgun. I'm hot gun for the shotgun. We have camera guts. Do we? Yes! Separation of concerns. Give me what you got. Gatling slugger. Gatling slugger? You pose an interesting quandary. Oh, it's interesting. Sort of. Are these both shotguns though? They both use the same pull, yeah. Okay. So which is it? Did I accidentally invent what's currently being marketed as? You can't camel cut those guys, can you? No. I remember now. Let me have a sip of what could be the hot version of cold brew coffee. Oh, I say could be. It definitely is. But wait, hold on. If you heated up cold brew coffee, would it just taste like regular coffee? 'Cause it seems a bit dishonest if it does, which makes no sense. Because that is what it would be. But it feels like it should be a separate product. Your money should be going to something you can't normally make. When's cold brew tea coming out? I suppose they got iced tea. Maybe that's what they thought. Like the coffee market isn't getting. I should not have got lost. I'm gonna restart because that's so stupid. The coffee market is missing out on its selection of cold products. Or whatever. I'm gonna research that. I'm interested now. How hot coffee actually is, what the brewing process is. Because I'm that fascinating. No, I am actually interested though. Because then could you make it at home and sell it on the street like the lemonade girl? And I say the lemonade girl because I've got that story in my head about. It's a UK story, so not everyone might know. I want this, yeah. But there was a girl who was trying to sell lemonade on the. None of these are good enough. Patience is because it lets me abuse the fact that none of them are good enough. So it's a UK girl. She probably identifies as a more specific place than just the UK. Who decided to sell lemonade on the street, and I think you need some kind of license because the police picked her up and said, no, you can't do that. We're going to give you a £180 fine. Don't quote me on that figure. That's definitely not right. And I think they told the police off because they said, okay, yeah, it is illegal what she was doing, but it's also illegal to run into the middle of the road on a motorway or something to, yeah, that one, to save someone's life. You've got to use some kind of restraint. It almost felt like they were taking advantage. Oh no, I forgot, Eagle Eye is really bad for shotguns, isn't it? Or it could be considered bad. Yeah, the police guys, you need to use some amount of restraint in using your position. Because there's a lot of things that could be recognised as crimes, for example, that motorway example from earlier. But you don't arrest people for all of them. There's a difference between the law and justice. Something like that. There's a clever saying in there somewhere. Something probably someone has already said, and so I'm not going to try and make an awful reproduction of. But it's a proverb along the lines of there's the law and then there's doing what's right. Yeah, sure. Long arms is pretty interesting, but it's useless. Unlike impact wrists, long arms is useless without a melee weapon. Because at least with impact wrists, yeah, we'll take that. At least with impact wrists, it affects things like shotguns. I think grenade launchers as well. I've got to say, I've heard Eagle Eye's bad with shotguns, and I kind of do agree, but it's not doing too bad. A more focused power shot doesn't seem awful. Bloop him. I'm trying to think, what else is there in Nier that I don't really love? Yeah, in the combat, I don't understand it. So you can play as 2B, the sexed up lady friend. She's not really sexed up. The reason I phrase it in that really strange way is because you can almost always see her pants. And it's almost lampshaded that you can, by the fact that if the camera is moved so you can see up there. And I only know about that because I didn't know you couldn't even do that because it actually helps in part of the game. If you move the camera so you can look there, and she's just wearing a plain pair of granny pants, so there's no actual problem there, then she will, by her own accord, move away from the camera. And the reason that's useful is because if you do that during a cutscene, you can move outside of the cutscene. And there's one side quest that involves that involves basically a race. And if you can, in any way, yeah, I'll take that. If you can in any way start the race quicker, then that's pretty great. I mean, if you can get out of any cutscene quicker, it's usually a good thing. Give me health. It's not really what I asked for. Let's be someone that's not plant. I do love plant. Let's be horror. I like horror. It's actually the 4th challenge in Charlie McDennis. Let's go. Let's go. If we can get anywhere near beating Little Hunter though, I'll be happy. Ew, worms. So why was I talking about looking up her skirt? Oh, she's a character in the game who can use 2 weapons at the same time. Which is, I kind of feel like I need that today. You can use 2 weapons at the same time. Square uses your leading weapon, I suppose you'd call it, whereas triangle uses the weapon on your back, which is great, I suppose. And you can equip them separately, so they can be different weapons. And it's kind of the equivalent to in Bayonetta, you can equip 2 different weapons, and there's 1 button for each, and you can mix and match those weapons, and they synergize in different ways. And that's what you kind of would think, be able to build different combos depending on different combos based on different combos of weapons, which is hurting my brain to even mention. But the weapons don't... The combos that you can build by pressing square and triangle, they don't allow for much synergy between the weapons. It's not like in Bayonetta where you'd have different combos based on different combinations of weapons. A point I'm going round and round explaining to myself because it's not going in. Here it's... The weapons just have their own combos, and you think you can press maybe triangle, triangle, Y, triangle, something like that to make a unique combo, but it doesn't. As soon as you hit triangle, it just ends the combo by doing the heavy attack. So the only kind of combos in the game are square, 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 and then maybe a triangle, 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 triangle. Oh, I'm getting bored even saying it. And actually, I like doing the square one. That was pretty good. So For a company that's renowned for making great combo systems and really interesting combat, it's really not. You can equip different weapons, but then a lot of them aren't really that interesting. As opposed to Bayonetta, you've got like some ice skating shoes, they're really good. And then some guns that switch between flamethrowers and ice throwers. And the regular old samurai sword's really good because it's got some really interesting moves. And you can equip the sword on your feet and then another sword on your hands. Like, it's really, every single combination is great. I don't really like the flamethrowers, ice throwers, but they look pretty. And the problem almost is that they've tried to up themselves. They've tried to one-up themselves. Oh God, save our souls! Save! Thank you. Because there's maybe, I don't know, 30 different guns in the game, and there's no way that they could have developed a different combo system for each permutation. It would have been like 30 times 30 different sets of combos for each pairing of weapons you can equip at the same time. It's too much, so it's almost like they just didn't bother. They just said, let's make combinations for each individual weapon, which is just not what made Bayonetta so good. I want that. Thank you. Horror does make great noises. Spike it. I don't want to pool over near though. I have spent a lot of time in it, so there must be some reason I continue to play it. And honestly, it is the really elusive storytelling. Like, it's got a lot of similarities to something like Dark Souls, where you have to go and find the story for yourself. I say that, but you are the critical parts of the story. You are handed on a plate. You do have to go out of your way to find them, but only very, very slightly. And when you do find those bits of text that do actually explain what's going on, it is very clear. It does give very definitive answers, whereas Dark Souls you just get additions to the mood. It's less about facts, although there are facts. It's more about I don't know really. maybe it's a baseless claim. Maybe it is just facts. And that was a really ugly rhino laugh. I don't know where or who that came from. These bolts just go right through and they're so long. I do kind of worry that another game that Platinum made, which was Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Yeah, let's do this. Which I don't like for similar reasons. That the combat system I don't think was that engaging either. I feel like they got away with that. That sold quite well because it was a Metal Gear Solid game, and because I think it was the first time. This is definitely wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway because it feels right, which is an awful, awful reason to say anything. but I feel like it's a really Weasley way of saying anything. It feels like that was the first Platinum game that hit the PlayStation and the PC. So that was people's first taste of how good their games could be, but it was one of their worst games in terms of combat. And literally, if they made the combat in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and Nier half as, well, not half as good, just do the whole thing, as it was in Bayonetta, I would have no problem. I would love this game, but because they got away with it in, because they got away without having it in Revengeance and it sold well, and because I assume it's a lot of work to do, it's a hell of a lot of work to do the same depth of combos and really great weapon design as in Bayonetta, they just thought, screw it, we don't need to. We can continue not making every game a Bayonetta, not clone, but based on what made it so successful. We don't need to include that. But when I think Platinum, that's what I think. It's probably the best combat system since Devil May Cry 3, but you can't really say that because a lot of people who made Devil May Cry 3 are in Platinum, I think. The only other such lauded combat system I can think of for third person, is it third person character action games? I think that's the genre they like to live in, or at least they're doing well in. Oh my god, there's so many munchkins! How dare they do this? Okay. The only other such highly regarded series of games I could say is like the Batman ones, because it looks so good, but and it's heavily oriented towards fighting many things at once, and that's where it gets its depth. And I guess because it melds so well with the open world exploration. And I'm not saying it's bad. I really like those games. They are really good. But the combat system doesn't really develop. It becomes more complicated. I suppose it gets more vertical, but it never gets any more horizontal. You get new gadgets and things. You don't get more weapons. You don't get new areas you need to expand upon. I mean, you do. But this is what I'm coming back to with it being horizontal. There's no... Batman never gets a gun. Never gets a sword. Or something like that. That is the fundamental difference, I think, between Bayonetta and the Batman games. You get synergies between weapons. In Batman, it's more about how many gadgets and things can you set up at the same time. How how big can your mind expand to think about all the little micromanaging tasks you need to do at the same time. Which is just a god-awful way to describe it. He's got some good points. Just let him stumble them out, and we'll listen to them. No, yes, no. Do we have laser brain? No. So I don't have to feel guilty about leaving the laser pistol behind. Coming back to the coffee conversation, the conversation, it's made me very thirsty. so I might need to skip out after this run, which inevitably, I don't want to say it, but inevitably it may not last. But I'm feeling good about this one actually. I always think that the sound of those, like the cowboy hatted, I don't know what animal they are, but the ones that fire the laser guns that get really telegraphed and take ages to shoot you, those ones. The sound that they make when they die, the whoom, whoom, it sounds like an entire building block just falling down. But it really doesn't, but it's the mental association I have, that is what one would sound like. I want that health, thank you. Oh, oh, got him. That never happened. We out. Gamma Guts has been the theme. And who would we be to change the theme? Actually, I'm more of a leitmotif man. Well, leitmotif isn't really something people understand anymore. Oh. Oh! I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm glad that ended so quickly. Because it means I can drink something. I'll be right back. Woo! I mean, that might have been the break that starts off a new set of million wins. It's like when you've got a problem, like a math problem, maths, you might say, or any kind of riddle, and you just sit there and you're thinking hard, you're, you're getting sweaty armpits, you can feel your brain expanding in your head, but you're not really getting any further on it. Sometimes it's good to just take, there's no ammo. Sometimes it's just good to take a breather, and then you have maybe even a 1 minute break. I get this all the time with programming, and it just comes to you. You don't even need to. Oh, you don't even need to consider it anymore. It's the equivalent of in a third-person character action game, character action game, of doing a charge move. You're putting all that force and thought into that mental maneuver, and then boom, and it's all gravy. You're done. The payoff, and you get to write down the 3-character regex string that you can use to find all occurrences of yada yada yada. I mean, that's not a great example because the regex for finding all of those occurrences is, it's not even deceptively simple. It's really honestly simple. I don't know why I was so fixated on that dude, but I was, so we'll just move on and accept it. You may not believe this, and I completely accept that, but I have beaten the last boss once. But hey, You flip a coin 100 times and it will land on its side once. Absolutely not true, but it sounded good saying it. It sounded like something Socrates might say. It really doesn't. We'll just leave it there. Like, that is objectively the right choice, right? It's really not. I've seen like the absolute pros play this game, and they always take the abilities you'd always think, or the mutations you'd think would be hot trash. Like, I really like Gamma Guts, but they really heart it. Gimme. I'm trying to understand how the collectibles, the pickups in this, take on the shape that they do. Because they're like little canisters of mutagen, aren't they? But then why would they just carry them? Wouldn't they be in their blood? And I know that's a ridiculous statement because there have to be abstractions that are made in games. But is there a game out there where any kind of collectible really meshes well with the world? Like in Max Payne, for example, your health is painkillers. Well, your health restorative items are painkillers, which apart from just being it's not even a great pun. It's not a pun at all. I suppose it is, but it meshes well, and it's quite seamless because you always find these restorative items. Ooh, no. You find these painkillers in the places you'd actually find real painkillers. In bathrooms. I mean, honestly, you could find painkillers anywhere. They're a bit of they're an item that could exist anywhere, yeah. So, probably just a great choice all around, really. But compare that to something like Crackdown, where your health pickups are like, I'm guessing they're red orbs, I can't really remember, but they definitely will be red orbs. It, I mean, it matches the tone, because it's quite an arcadey game. But it was pretty cool of the Max Payne guys to recognise. I mean, I suppose it just flowed from the name, really. What do we use to heal him? Painkillers. I was going to say, it's good job on them on picking such a great item to be the restorative, but yeah, it probably just it was a no-op. They just thought about it and it was true. No design required. Boop. I want to look in the red box. At the red box, where black people and white people buy furniture. Um, these are fine. Oh, I love it. It's so good. So good, so good, so good. Actually, only pretty good. I see you. I see you. Oh, oh, oh. Get him there. Get him there. Yeah. Good. 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 Nice clearing. Don't stand there. That's where the hot stuff comes. And that leads me to a nice segue on the movie Joe versus the volcano, just because I saw a bit of fire moving upwards. It's really boring, but that. Joe vs. the Volcano is a film with a ridiculous premise, but at the same time with a fairly mundane content. It's like the Simpsons episode where the guy's marketing Fireball in Mud Flap, where it sounds like a wild, crazy title for a film and all kinds of shit is going to go down. But it's about two people just called like Jim Fireball and James Mudflap. Two Jims in the same film, you know it's not going to be that entertaining. I'm gonna say I bet you've got into Little Hunter, who's the horrible flying jetpack guy. How can I get the Throne Men? Who are the Throne Men? The nuclear dudes. Because I know there's the labs right before the throne, and that's full of the really. That's supposed to be quite a difficult area. You go till Big Dog. Oh, Big Dog. Big Dog's not too bad. I guess. I don't know. I never really had a problem with Big Dog. It's the boss after that I have trouble with. I'd say if you want to get past Big Dog, get some more long range weapons. It's not good to fight him so close up. Something like a Gatling slugger or an assault shotgun, because you can just hold down the shoot button and be at quite a distance and just blow them away. Or a crossbow's really good. Crystal Cave sucks, yeah. I really hate the Crystal Caves. The Crystal Caves I almost just try and rush through a lot of the time. Let's try and get there, so I'll try and really focus on this run, so I can at least show you how I might do it. I can't promise anything though. But Crystal Cave, the one really good weapon in the Crystal Cave is the crossbow. I find it works really well on the Diamond Men. The Crystal Men would make more sense. But Big Dog, that's not bad. That's like halfway. Wait, where are you from, Javito or Chavito? Because your English is really good. Yeah, totally, I can do that. Yeah. Impact Rest is really fun. And also, who is VJ9? You're Spanish, but I can speak English. Well then, do you habla español? You probably do, since you're Spanish. I did Spanish at school, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I took it over French because French sucks, whereas Spanish is really cool. How do you say, is it Javi, like Javier, or Javi, which is how an English person would probably pronounce it? Because Spanish names, for one, however way you pronounce it, are just way more fun sounding. Oh, he's getting so bullied! Like, my name is Lee, and that's I think I've actually got the most interesting English name. I don't know why, I think just because it's short. So, there's as few syllables of English sounding names that you can hear at the same time. Laser pistol. Any way to communicate? Yeah, just direct message me on Twitch. That'll do. Or or on Twitter. You can direct message me on Twitter. It's all down below. But those are really all I use nowadays. I'd give out my email, but I already get enough. That was really bad. Let's go with an easy character. sex workers, so I don't really want to give out my email. Snapchat. Man. I don't really use that. I think I'm probably too old for it. Do it on Twitch, man. I think there's you can whisper people on Twitch. Get your ass beat! Oh, was that a golden one? Yeah, I want to keep that. Don't. Oh, that is another like really great bit of advice. Sorry, I wasn't focusing. Like, don't pick up any crowns. They're for like really advanced play. I mean, you might not even be aware of their existence in the game, which is probably safer. How can you send me one? Like, let's see. If I go onto Twitch and I go, let's see. If I look for, if I try and send you one, let's see. Oh yeah, just click on, see I can whisper to you. And let me know how that looks, because that might actually do something. Oh god! God damn you for distracting. This is going to be the run. By force of will and habit, it's going to be the run. Step 1. Run into all forms of fire and accept no shit from no man. Oh, good job, man. You've done it. Yeah, I think they call it... Oh, good job. I think they call them whispers because you've got to distinguish yourself from every other social media platform these days. Like, what do they even call messages on Snapchat? They probably just call them DMs, right? It's too early for me. It's too early. I've never done a stream this early in the day. And then I look at my clock and it says fucking 2:30 in the afternoon. But I've only been awake since 12. What part of Spain are you from? Javito. I'll keep saying Javito because I like doing that sound. I'm gonna stop at about. I'm gonna do maybe 2 more runs and then I'll stop. But yeah, then I'll watch you. Let me know if that's good. But yeah, and then I think I might stream again later because I wanted to actually play Pyre, which is the new game by the people who did Transistor, which I'm a huge fan of. Madrid, wow. I don't live near London. I live like on the county next to it. So I also almost live near the capital of my country, which is England. Madrid though, I hear really good things about it. Like, it's a lovely place. Do you know Yeah, I know Binding of Isaac. I've got about 2,000 hours in it. That's one game I'm really good at. This I'm trying to get better at. But that's a fantastic game. Do you play a lot of it? I will stream it at some point, but I'd like to try and get better at this one. Okay, 2 more runs, and that's it. I'll stop. I think I've 100%ed Isaac. Let me see. What's stopping me from actually finishing Isaac? I've got... Let's see. I've got 96%. don't think I've got all the Afterbirth Plus achievements. Because after spending maybe, oh no, 400 hours, not so bad, 400 hours in it, I think I just got a bit tired. Show your stats. Just find me in Steam, dog. It's just under Cygnut, Cygnut. Or actually, if I give you the Steam link, but I don't know if I'll be allowed links in chat. Steam powered Cygnut. Steam powered Cygnut. If this takes any longer than 20 seconds, I'm giving up. Oh, Aviary Attorney. That's the first thing that shows up. So it's just a game about a bird walking across the screen. So yeah, if you want my stats, there you go. Enjoy! You'll find everything you need on that page. I'm still enjoying when you want. Oh, cool. Okay, I will be over in 2 runs. My dog. Or as you might say in France. No, not France. In Spain. Mia perro. That's so wrong. I know it is. It's probably also really offensive, so I'm really sorry. But perro is dog, right? So I think it's dog. It's either dog or English idiot. You're going to interpret that word one of both of those 2 ways. Okay, make these runs count. I don't understand why I haven't completed Afterbirth Plus. I do not get it. I would need to play it at some point. Because I did all the Keeper stuff, and the Keeper stuff is one of the most ridiculous parts of the game. So why wouldn't I have gone from there to finish the rest? Eh. Screwdriver. And no, thank you. No, oh. That's like the scene from Pulp Fiction where all the bullets miss that dude. Apart from, you know, the one right at the end. Man. Do I know Binding of Isaac? I've got like 3 different Binding of Isaac, these Isaac t-shirts. One of them's goddamn signed. It's not really, but I tell people that because, you know, you can't be too cool. I mean, you can be too cool. Keanu Reeves is too cool. Oh, this is too good. This is all too good. What should I do to deserve this? A shovel and a flame shotgun. What is going on? Down the pink mouth. Let's go. It's a shame there's only like 2 runs left because I really wanted to talk about the strange colour blindness stuff that I found on the internet the other day. But I'll save that for later, possibly. Because there's a website called Enchroma.com. I think it's Enchroma, something like that. And you can do like a colour blindness test on there, but then there's a video their colour blindness. Oh god. Any bullet coming my way, and I'll just avoid it. Right, last one. Yeah, so there's a video of them just wearing these corrective colour blindness glasses for the first time, and their reaction to it. So there's one guy who's been wearing a blue and yellow t-shirt all of his life. Well, that's what he thinks. Actually, it's purple and green. Um, and then there's some people who thought that something that was orange and green was actually all orange, and you've got to be pretty damn colourblind to think that. But then there's like one kid who's right at the end who's totally just channeling me. And he's just like, yeah, dang. He has just the most minimal reaction to these glasses that are going to change how he sees the world. And he's just so sway about it. Go on, good. And I think like that's how I'd be, because I've got colour blindness, but it's not that bad. I don't think I'd bother wearing sunglasses that made such a minimal change in my life. None of these are. That one. Hit him! Hit him! Stop trying to hit him and hit him. Hee hee hee. Now I have a sledgehammer. Oh, okay. That's a great sign to stop. I'm gonna go and watch Javito and his little stream to try and maybe help him out with Nuclear Throne, because obviously I'm the kind of guy that should be helping him. But thanks everyone for watching, and